Hey Rathoth, how are you doing? Hey guys. Good morning, good night, hello, wherever you are. Let me know if the music is okay or if it's too loud, please. Hey Diane, how are you, man? Or dude? Or woman? It's a little bit difficult to know the gender of the names. Diane Mosakov? Are you from Russia? Mosakov sounds very Russian. Where are you guys visiting from? I'm streaming from Mexico. You guys know that, right? Hey Dave. Hello, bro. Are you one of my students? Actually, when they say bro, it's like I always say bro. So, welcome guys. Welcome to the to our stream. We're celebrating actually. I don't have anything because I didn't know we were gonna hit the number right now. But we just hit 20,000 subscribers here in the YouTube channel. I think when I started like recording videos for you guys, which was like June or July last year, we were at 10,000, so double the amount in less than a year. Not bad, right? So yeah, as I mentioned in the video, if you saw the video on Monday, we're gonna be working on the lighthouse. So I don't even remember where we left off. So let's take a look at how we're doing with the lighthouse, and let's see what else can we do. And as always, if you guys have questions, feel free to leave them on the comment section. I'm reading the comments over like here. So yeah, just make sure to leave your questions and I'll be happy to answer them. Or if there's a specific topic you guys want me to talk about, we can also change the what's the word? We could also change the content right now. Oh, you're welcome, Ishak. I'm happy to be contributing to the community as I can. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of content, right? Like a lot of content. Music's a little bit loud. Okay, let me get that down. There you go. That should be just a nice little background music, not to get bored. Cool. So we already had the door, I remember or recall. So I'm just gonna import it here. Let's see where it is. Right there. I think it's gonna be a little bit easier if we start assembling this in Unreal. So let's go into Unreal. Oh, that's a great question, Ankur. Great question. So whenever you open Maya, it's always recommended to set the project, because every time you tell Maya to import something, be it like an audio file, an image, an FBX, a new scene, or whatever, like whenever you're importing something, the first place where Maya is gonna look to is where the project is set. By default, whenever you install Maya, you're gonna get a folder here in Documents called Maya Projects, and you're gonna get this default project. So all of the basic folders are gonna be here. Whenever you don't set the project, it's gonna default to this place. So if you are trying to load the texture and it's not here on the source images, it's probably because you didn't like set up your projects. And the reason why it's so important is because, well, once you're in a studio or in a project, there's gonna be a lot of organization going on. So for instance, from last year. These are all of the projects that I worked on last year. So imagine if I had like all the scenes in one, just like a single folder or something, it wouldn't be impossible to find them. So every time I start a new project or a new like client or a new anything, I create a project specifically for that thing. And that way, anything that I do related to that project is going to live on those folders. That's why we need the all of those things, the set projects. So let's go to the library here, and I actually did change this. That's unfortunate. You know why? Because I have not downloaded Unreal Engine 5 just yet. So I'm gonna have to skip that one, and we're gonna have to continue here because I don't have Unreal Engine. I haven't downloaded it. I recently changed my what's the word, my OS, my operating system. So I updated or upgraded to Unreal Engine 11, and we got that. Let's see. Hello, sir. Love from India. Love back to you, my friend. I just wrote a post on my Facebook because I saw that our course, the ZBrush Complete Guide to ZBrush 2022 that we released like a month ago, was being promoted in one page that I used to follow a long time ago. I still follow, of course, and it made me very happy. And I know most of you guys are from India, so it's always a pleasure to meet new students. Let me grab the... Let's grab the file. There we go. Let's see. Female anatomy tutorial. Shank is asking for that one. We have one anatomy tutorial on the pipeline, and we still haven't defined like how we're gonna approach it. I think I'm gonna be in charge of that one. So yes, that's on the pipeline, Shanks. We're gonna be doing something like that very, very soon. Wilfred, going straight to the difficult questions. Is it good to use orient joints or use aim constraints to change a joint local orient? That's a great question. The simplest answer that I can give you, and if you're asking this question, that probably means that you're watching our rigging course. The best answer is it depends on the specific orientation that you want. When the orientation is very straight, like the spine or the neck, that's just like a straight line, usually orient joint is more than fine because you just want to point something up, something to the side, and something to the front, and that should be it. But when you have something like the arm where bones are pointing to like a lot of different planes, aim constraint is better because that builds a new plane that you're going to be able to follow. Hopefully that answered the question. I can only say that I love my wife, Anukul, but I appreciate it. Let's see. Does it also prevent broken links with match the model greens? Not always. When you get the green texture, that's usually because the shader got lost at some point. It's not always because of the set driving kicks or anything. So let's take a look at this here. We have a couple of things that need to be done before we keep going. So you guys want to do a tire? I know we've done a tire before. We did like a bicycle tire. Good morning, Divyang. But we can do those tires. We could do the little lamp here. I think we should do the little lamp. The little lamp seems fun. Let's vote. What should we do? Should we do the tire with the ropes? Should we do the lamp? Or should we do like this sort of like a wooden board windows? Let's see. Let's see what the chat says. Little lamp, the tire, or the little or the windows. Oh, that's so sad, my friend. Coffee Republic. Yeah. I'm not sure if most of you guys know, but Nexttut is not my brand. Nalin, who used to post videos, he's the chief, he's the boss, and I'm part of the team, of course. I'm one of the main instructors, so I don't have control like to give away stuff. But I'm gonna talk to him. Maybe we can do another giveaway very, very soon. But yeah, hopefully the prices is not that bad. So if you guys can get one, that always of course helps us. So we have one vote for the lamp. Yeah, I think the lamp would be nice. Let's do the lamp. So let's look for like candle street lamp. Because I would imagine there was no electricity back then. So So yeah, let's do something. Ooh, that looks fancy. Should we do something fancy or not as fancy? I think something fancy would be cool. Because, I mean, this is, like, super far away, so I can't really see. I would expect this ones to be as fancy, though, because they're, like, on a lighthouse. But they would be a little bit fancy. Divjang, how did I do the net? Yes, I did it with the, what's the word? I did it with alphas. So right now, this is just like a plane, and it has this, like, net alpha. Not the greatest. We can make it better later. But yeah. Anchor, will I crop the live stream? No, I don't think I will, my friend. That would take a little bit of time to edit everything. So that's why I just want to do like a simple prop or something so that we don't have to spend as much time like editing stuff. Thank you, Coffee. Thank you for the support. So yeah, let's do the lamp. So as you can see, guys, whenever you're doing any sort of like element, I'm going to do this one because it looks fancy, it looks cool. So I'm going to save this first of all on our, what's the word, on our Nexttut files. So let's go to the Nexttut files. There we go. And we're going to save this as source images. There we go. And usually when I'm working on this sort of props, I think it's better to do it as a separate scene. So I'm going to open a new scene. Let's go to the front view. And let's get our image plane here. Remember, there's a little shortcut right here to get the image plane. And we should have this one somewhere. Look at this, so many things that we've done. Let's check the name. How did this say? Clip art, PNG clip art. So there we go. Now the reason I'm choosing the front view instead of the side view is just for like ease of construction. There's really no like specific way to do it. Now as you can see, okay, let's see. Is it important as rigger to learn Python? Yes. Yes, it is important because it can make your jobs and lives a lot easier. The course that I did for rigging, that's just like an introduction level rigging. I'm not a rigger myself. Like most of my work is modeling, texturing, rendering. That's the usual things that they hire me for as freelancer. But I know the riggers, like the ones that do rig full time, they do need Python scripts to understand things better. So yeah, as you can see, this thing right here is a cube with the like corners beveled. So I'm gonna start with a cube. Make it as big as the base, which is roughly about there. And then grab these vertices, bring them up right about there, and scale them up. So that's roughly the size. Let's push this thing back. And I'm going to grab all of the edges and just bevel them. To get as close as possible to the shape that we need. System specifications, that's a great question. I recently updated to a Ryzen... Let me see. It's Ryzen 7 58000 or 5800. I have a 1080 GPU, 32 gigs of RAM, and a lot of hard drives and SSDs. A lot of hard drives. So down here, I'm gonna extrude this to create the little like base that we have there. And as you can see, it kind of like goes in. So I'm also gonna extrude, scale, and bring this in. Now this is a game asset, so I won't expect this to be like super high resolution because that would just like waste too much stuff. I'm gonna grab this, Control E to extrude out. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab all of these faces, guys. This is a really neat trick. I'm gonna extrude and then I'm gonna offset with keep faces together off to create the paneling, the glass paneling that we see there. And I'm not gonna delete the faces. That might be like a very like instinct or like normal thing to think. But I'm actually gonna say mesh or edit the mesh and extract the faces. That way, all of those faces can be combined, and those are eventually gonna become the glass like panels that we're gonna like we could texture or use. So yeah. Now you can see here that there's like a nice little border, and we can just like freehand it, I think. So I am gonna add like a couple of lines here, and then like this guy, Control E. Bring it out, offset it a little bit. That's like that first one. And then this edge, or actually this whole face, I'm gonna scale out to create that. And then the borders seems to have like a little bit of an edge, like a gap. So I'm gonna select this guy and and this guy and give it a bevel, small fraction, and then select those edge loops and extrude. And if I want to be fancy, I'm gonna offset it just a little bit there. Again, not worrying too much about this because it's gonna be like we're gonna see it from far away, so we don't need to go like super in depth about the whole element. Let me actually like get this image into PureRef so that we can. I've been using PureRef quite a bit. Where is it? Here. And it's really cool because you can like analyze the image a little bit better. So yeah, so this thing down here is just supported by this like circular frames. And then we have like this other thing over here. There's an interesting element. Hello, Salamb! Welcome to the stream, my friend. And it's almost midnight. Nice. Yeah, right here it's 12. No, it's not 12. It's 10:20 p.m. Not super late, but a little bit late. Let's do Control E. I'm gonna move this up. Here's a nice little trick as well. I'm gonna add 2 edge loops, and then when you scale, if you press Control and scale only on the green axis, it won't push it up or down. It will just push it on the X and Y. Very helpful to create like this sort of like curvatures, as you can see there. Grab this face again. Let's give it a little bit of another extrusion, and then another extrusion. Move it up and scale it in to create like the little hoodie thing that we have there. Control E and push it up. It's gonna be like that little house that we have up there. So for your question, Hitesh, welcome. You say you want to learn the complete 3D animation and you want to get a job. How can I start? Do you offer any basic to advanced Maya courses? So most of the courses that I do are, they start at the very basic level. So most of them, you don't even have to have any sort of like experience. However, I don't think I've done like an advanced one. Well, the most advanced one is like the demon character creation for games. That one covers the whole pipeline. The soldier, the stylized character, that one also covers the whole pipeline. But most of the other ones will get you from beginner to like intermediate, getting a little bit into advanced. You should be able to get like some simple jobs maybe if you complete those courses. But that's with everything. You need practice, you need time investment, like you need to put it like to get in there and do a good job, right? For instance, for myself, my first like big 3D job came to me after I had studied for about 2 years. That's when I really got like a really nice job. I did have a lot of like a couple of other jobs in the meantime, but they were like very simple, easy jobs. I don't even have them in my portfolio. So yeah, like 2 years is like the minimum amount of time, like at a normal pace. 2 years at a normal pace should be more than enough to get you into the industry. If you want to speed it up, you need to of course have or do a lot more time, but it can be done. Like I've had friends that after like 6 months they were able to land the job on the industry. So yeah, everything is possible. Great question, Anukul Chandra. So you do 3D as hobby. Should you do Blender or Maya? If you do it as a hobby, I think I would go for Blender. Just because it's free. And that really gives you like everything that you need to do. Alejandro, one of the other instructors here in the channel, he just released an introduction to Blender 3.0, which again covers pretty much everything. So if you want to check that one out, I think that one has a lot of great content. But yeah, like as a hobbyist, I would probably like recommend students to go for Blender. I'm actually changing some of that. Like on the classes that I teach over here in Mexico, some of the schools that I'm teaching at, they are having a hard time getting like student license for the students. So for some of them, I'm actually teaching them Blender. And I teach the exact same things, like you see the exact same content, the exact same like tools, like bevel, like this lamp that I'm doing right here. You should be it should be fairly easy to do it in the same way on in Blender. So yeah, you can do either. I'm gonna grab this guys right here. I'm gonna assign a new material and I'm gonna add Lambert, just to be able to like see the like glass effect. So I'm gonna do a little bit of transparency and I'm gonna change the color to like a yellowish color. Again, just to see where the transparency is gonna be going. Where to start? Do you recommend any courses? Yes, depends on what you want to do. If you want to do sculpture, we just released the ZBrush complete guide to ZBrush 2022. Great way to start ZBrush. If you want to learn Maya, I do have a complete guide to Maya 2021 or 2020, I think, which is the most recent, or it's not the most recent one. Right now we're at Maya 2022, but all of the techniques that we see there are applied to Maya 2022. So that one, it's a great one to start as well. And as I mentioned, Alejandro's course, the Introduction to Blender 3.0, is also a great place to start. Why doesn't Aline make videos now? Because he's the boss, and he's now making sure that we have everything that we need to be doing the videos. So he's going into more of a leadership role, and he's making sure that, yeah, like, we have everything. I'm really happy being part of this team. So if you want to thank anyone for that, that should be Aline. He's in charge, and he's been doing a great job for us to grow as we've been growing. Wilfred, I'm starting to prepare my portfolio for 3D modeling, texturing. What types of models should you do? You should do the types of models that you would like to be paid for. So if you like characters, the characters. If you like guns, the guns. If you like cars, the cars. Because that's the thing that people are going to be knowing you for. Yep. Any advice on haircuts about how to make and bake? That's a question that we've been getting quite a bit in the last couple of like streams and stuff. I think we're going to be doing something soon about those, because it's not as simple. Like, baking them is not that difficult. Like, creating the haircuts shouldn't be that difficult. I personally use Xgen, which is quite flexible to do that. The main issue, or the most difficult thing is, what's the word? It's the organization, like grooming, like making sure that the hair looks good on the character. That's the tricky and very time consuming part. It's just... there's not a lot of ways to make it like automatic and make it easy. Here I'm extruding the borders, which are the things that are mainly gonna be seen. And then what I can do is I can just close some of them. We don't need to close all of them because they're gonna be like covered by the glass, and that's gonna save us a little bit of polygons. The music is very epic. It's the League of Legends, like, creators, I don't know what, like, the thing that makes it free and makes it so that we are not gonna get, like, copyright striked or anything. So now I do think I'm gonna bridge these parts right here. I think that's gonna make it, again, cleaner overall. Hitesh says, a lot of love from India. My English is not very good. I want to improve, and my dream is I want to do a job in Disney. How can I improve English? Your English is awesome. I was lucky enough to get like English education ever since I was like in primary school and secondary school, high school, like all of the levels. Practicing is probably, of course, the best advice. Something that really helped me was reading books. Of course, that really like improves your English. And the books that I read when I was a kid were the Aragon books. This is like just fantasy. That's why I love fantasy, or I think that's one of the reasons I love fantasy. And I really like these books, reading them as well. The story is good. It's not like wow amazing, but it's quite nice. And the English is very easy because these books were for young audiences. So usually when authors write for like young adults, they don't make the English as like fancy or difficult to understand. So that really helped me. And then watching series, movies, like anything that's in English, video games even, that helps. But to develop like proper conversational skills, you need to practice. That's the only way to do it. There's no other way. A lot of people are very shy about like speaking English because they feel like they can't speak it like properly or something. They don't care. I remember when I went to Los Angeles, my friends didn't care, and whenever I made a mistake, if it was like a really bad mistake, they would like correct me. But otherwise, they just let it go, and you get the confidence, and by hearing, of course, and practicing, you get more and more fluent in the way you speak. I do have an accent though. It might not be as noticeable, but I do have an accent. It's like this. We call it pocho accent, which is when a Mexican speaks English. It sounds a little bit different than traditional English. Okay, I'm just extruding these faces here, and then filling the hole, selecting the face, and saying edit mesh and poke to close the hole. That way, this is what we call a watertight mesh. So there's no holes in the mesh, and it saves polygons, and it makes it easier for like the whole thing. And that's it. I mean, that's pretty much it. The one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say mesh display harden edge, so that all of the edges are a little bit sharper. It's kind of like if I added like support edges, but without adding them. So it's a really, really easy way to save some space. Now, I do like the little like bends that it has up here. So I want to add them, but it might be a little bit tricky. Maybe we add them on the texture instead, because otherwise our polygon count is going to go really, really high. Oh, let's see. Anchor says, sometimes when I use the Arnold optics denoiser, I get splotted results. Any way to fix it? You need to up the samples, because if the image is really noisy, it doesn't matter like how nice your optics is, it will make like splotchy things. So up the samples. Not as much because you have the denoiser, but you probably need to up the samples. Rohan, that's a great name, Rohan. Like the writers of Rohan from Lord of the Rings. Have you ever faced creative blocks or loss of motivation? If yes, how do you break away from it? Oh, my friend, that's a big one. So yes, I have. It's completely and perfectly normal. I think we as humans aren't meant to be working or doing work for extended periods of times. And I think that's one like cultural thing that's happening right now in the world. Like people are too focused on the works because we need to, right? Because we need to pay the bills and stuff. But we're forgetting about like just living life. So the things that I do is I try to get away from work. Like I try to do my hobbies. I like to paint. Here, I'll show you guys. So you guys know I love Dungeons and Dragons, right? So I paint the miniatures. So I have my whole like painting station over here, and whenever I have free time and I can do it, I'll paint my miniatures. I play Dungeons and Dragons. That's one of my hobbies with my brother, and I actually play with my brother-in-law, and a couple of friends, and it's super fun. So yeah, like doing things out of work can clear your mind. And another thing that I like to do is whenever I feel like I'm not good enough or like I'm struggling like with a creative block, I do something that I know I can do. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but like if I know I can make like a barrel, I'll just model a barrel just to get it out of my mind and just to be able to say, hey, I did it, I finished the model. And that kind of like clicks something, breaks me out of the loop and gets you like working again. Of course, money is a great motivation. When you're getting paid, that's always something to keep yourself like motivated. But yeah, it's normal. It's human. So if you ever feel like completely overwhelmed, take a day or two. Just like a mental hell day. Just don't do any 3D. Don't watch any tutorials. Just rest and then come back and continue. Salim B, for the image reference in the perspective view, what's the best way to adjust my mesh to fit exactly within? We have a video about that. You might want to check on the channel. I don't remember when we did that, which is like camera matching. So what you're gonna do, like for instance, this one, right? I'll delete it. So you're gonna create a new camera, rendering camera. You're gonna say panels, look through selected, like bring it out, and then you're gonna import the image here. Like this, and it's just a matter of like trying to find like the perfect angle. Like that's as close probably as we can get. I know I'm not following it perfectly, but that will be the angle. And then I would probably say panels, tear off copy to have a different copy, and then I'll continue working on the perspective while keeping an eye on this one to make sure that I'm like matching the perspective as nicely as possible. I think we actually did it with the lighthouse. So if you go to like the first or second lighthouse video, you're gonna find like how we match it as close as possible to the ground. It's a very similar process. It takes a little bit of like practice, of course, but yeah, that's the main idea. Hitesh says, I'm from India, so it's possible to do job in another country. It is possible. It's a little bit difficult. For instance, for me, like I'm in Mexico and the United States are literally above us. It's still difficult. Like I've gotten some freelance work where they send me the work and I do it here in Mexico and then I send the work back and they pay me. But going to work to the United States due to the visa and stuff, it is tricky. You need to be really good so that it's worth it for the studio to do all the whole like work visa process. Because let's face it, if there are like 100 artists in the US and like 100 artists in the rest of the world, the studios are probably gonna go and pick from the artists in the US first. But if you're really good, again, it's a little bit easier to travel somewhere else. There's a lot of countries in Europe that are hiring people as well. I'm gonna go to the front view here. Let me bring my image plane back. And there's this like little like flower thing down here. So I think I'm gonna use a sphere for that one. I'm gonna reduce these things to like 12. Make it smaller, a little bit more like an oval shape. And then I'm gonna delete these faces over here. And here's where knowing about symmetry is really good. So I'm gonna grab this guy and take a look at this trick. Top view. And I'm gonna do, as you can see, this is 12. So if I do like this guy right here, like 4. I'm gonna grab this section right here only. There we go. And then I know that we are gonna have like the flower thing. So Control E, just extrude this down. Push it a little bit forward. Let's add a couple of edge loops. And then this we're gonna push back to create like the flower effect. See that? And then I'm gonna go to the top view. I'm gonna duplicate this, rotate this 90 degrees, and then duplicate 180 degrees, and then duplicate 270 degrees. Grab everything, combine again, grab the center vertex, this one, and just merge to center so that it's all like together. And there we go. Now it's just a matter of grabbing, for instance, from here to here, and from here to here, and saying bridge. Oh, is it not the exact? Oh, from here to here, and from here to here, and we're gonna bridge. It's pretty much like if we're rebuilding the... What the hell? Bridge. There we go. Bridge, bridge. Same deal over here. For some reason it doesn't like those like weird bridges. Let's try it over here. There we go. Let's do one first, and then the remaining ones. One first, and then the remaining ones. There we go. Let's just keep bridging some of this guys so that's watertight or as clean as possible. For those, we can just say mesh, fill hole, and it will fill... Oh, it didn't. There we go. Fill hole. Nope, doesn't like it. Okay, so I think for this ones, since this is going to be like on the same planes, I'm just going to delete them and do the same thing. Just fill hole and edit mesh and poke. Oh, edit mesh and poke. There we go. Ronak, where's the video of how to choose project assets for showreel? I think we did talk about it, didn't we? We didn't do that video? Okay, I'll write it down, and I promise, you have my word, that will be the Friday video, okay? So I'll do the how to choose a project video. That will be Friday, I promise. Oh, great. Yeah, sorry, that was Ronak. Okay, Ronak. Rohan, you paint 40k. Nice, nice. I used to play War Machine when I was younger with my brother, but it became too expensive. So now I bought a 3D printer like a couple years ago, and it's a lot cheaper to just print my D&D miniatures. Now, to give a little bit of thickness down here without having to give thickness to everything, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab this 8 faces right here, and this first loop right there. Or actually, no. Actually, I'm gonna grab the edge loop right here. Hit E to extrude, and R. And as you can see, this is gonna give me the thickness that I need. And now we just need to close this. So we're gonna go from here to here and bridge it. From here to here and bridge. From here to here and bridge. From here to here and bridge. We can do the same thing that we did on the lamp. So here, Control E, just extrude to the center. Oh, actually missed the bridge. Did I miss the bridge? No, I didn't miss it. I just selected the wrong ones. There we go. So from here to here, and we bridge. Now we grab all of this, Control E, R, and we get this closer. Fill the hole. Select this one and say Edit Mesh and Poke. Perfect. And now it's just a matter of like filling this guys in. I mean, there's a lot of different ways. Easiest one is these are squares, so let's just fill them in as squares, and then we're gonna have a couple of triangles on the tips, but it's fine because this is the low poly and we're not gonna have anything else. So just grab all of this, guys, and fill hole. Perfect. One thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna grab all of the upper faces only. All of the upper faces, I'm gonna say mesh display, soften edge, so that's a little bit softer. This ones, I really don't care if they're a little bit like harder. I mean, we can do everything soften edge. Yeah, I think that looks fine. And there we go. So that's the little like flower thing. And then from the cap that we just created, from that cap, we're just gonna start extruding. And it's gonna be like one extrusion there, another extrusion there, another extrusion there. I'm gonna grab, let me isolate this. See, I'm gonna grab all of these faces, Control E, bring them out and a little bit of offset. And then these faces, Control E, bring them out and a little bit of offset. And see how that creates like a very nice shape? That's what I'm going for. Maybe like another extrude. I'm just like free modeling right now, just to create a nice little shape that matches our element. Maybe it's a little bit too much geometry, so let's just delete anything that we're not seeing. There we go. That's the little flower right there. Let's see. Do we have more questions? What does optimization means, or optimize 3D model? Can you explain? Yes. So optimize means, especially for games, keeping the poly count as low as possible. That's the first one. And here's a very like stupid and basic example. Like you can have this sphere. This is a 20-sided sphere, right? So it has 400 faces, 400 triangles. Or sorry, 400 faces, 760 triangles. And you can grab this one and say, hey, you know what? Instead of having 20 by 20, let's make it 12 by 12. And if you do the mesh display soften edge thing, they will look similar. Like if you see them right here, like yes, the silhouette's a little bit like edgy, but this is more optimized because it has less polygons. It only has 144 faces, so we reduced this by more than a half. So this is gonna run a lot smoother, especially on like devices such as phones and tablets and stuff. Of course, this is gonna look better. So optimize means having like only the topology that you need, making sure that the UVs are well done, making sure that the deformation is well done. Like there's a lot of things that like have to do with optimization, but usually the amount of polygons is one of the most like important ones. Let's say Hitesh asks, which computer are you using for all your heavy work? I have i5 generation, 16 gigs of RAM. Yeah, your setup is great, man. I have I mentioned recently, I just mentioned like at the beginning of the stream, it's a Ryzen 7 5800. It's I have 32 gigs of RAM and I have a 1080 GTX video card. So that's my setup, and it works nice. Am I gonna do the interior? No. It's taking forever to do the exterior. It would take like the whole year to do the interior as well. So as you can see, the lamps here, like, well, this one's hanging, so that's gonna be a different effect. But this one right here has like a support going into the wall, so that's gonna like change from this thing right here. So let's make the support. So I would imagine it would be like welded to like maybe like this bottom side. We have a little bit of overlap, that's fine. I'm gonna grab this face, extrude it back. I think probably like that is fine. And to make it again fancy, let's just bevel the whole thing. That way we have a nice little like edge that we can use for metal edgeware and stuff. Stairs, yes, we're gonna do stairs. We have some stairs on the outside. Why do you use Lambert? It's just for preview, because I'm gonna be doing the textures in Substance Painter. So the Lambert right now is just for a preview purpose. Yes, AI standard is better for rendering. I have bought your hard surface modeling in Maya. It's awesome, but what's next? Can you do next course on how to UV bake and texture assets you made in hard surface modeling in Maya? I can ask Nalene. Yeah, that could be another course, how to texture those assets. I'm actually working on in the next course, but I'm not sure if I can spoil it just yet. Maybe I will spoil it, so stay tuned. Should be releasing like early next month. So yeah, let's go for like a base over here. So I'm gonna grab like all of these guys. Let's delete them. Grab this edge, Control E, extrude it out to create like the thing that gets like attached to the wall. Control E, push it back. Probably bevel this border. No spoilers, no spoilers, not yet, not yet. Harden edge, there we go. And I think we can add some like rivets or screws or something. Let's do like rivets. I think that would be like ideal. So I'm gonna change this again to 12 because again it's an easy number. It gets us the round shape and we don't have to spend as much geometry on it. Let's rotate this 90 degrees. And we do this over here. Let's keep it small. Actually, here I'm going to use mirror, shift click, and then mirror on the world x-axis negative. There we go. And then just move this thing down. I think it would be cool if you do a video with Alejandro. He will make the same thing you do in Maya and he will do it in Blender. Yeah, that would be fun, right? I'm not sure if it would be fair because I have a little bit more experience than Alejandro. I think he has like 7 years of experience in the industry. I have 11. So even if we are like at the same level in the softwares, speed-wise, I might be a little bit faster. And I've always been very fast at modeling. So, but I can ask him. We can try and do something like that. Soften edge. There we go. So yeah, that's it. This is our, I think this is the element. Now we can add a couple of details. We're still missing a couple of these. So we need this like thingies right here, and we need like this thingies as well over here. I think those are the only things that we're missing, and then we'll do the UVs. So let's do the things down here. Easiest way to do it: curves all the way. So I'm gonna go create curve tools, EP curve, and we're gonna start like here. Actually, like this. Enter. And I'm gonna go right click, control vertex or vertex, and I'm gonna be able to modify the curve to make it cleaner, like nicer. This is one very common technique that we use on the Maya course, on the Intro to Maya course, because there's an activity where we do a chess set. Huge fan of chess. You guys in India, you guys have very strong chess players. I'm not sure if you guys follow like the world championship stuff, but you guys have some really like strong players. Cool. So now this one, very easy. I'm just gonna say edit or create, and there's this sweep mesh, very useful thing inside of Maya. I am gonna change the scale, of course, and I'm gonna increase the precision. It's gonna give me a better loop. Something like that should be more than enough. I'm gonna change the sides to 4 sides probably, or yeah, 6 sides looks good. And there we go. We have this nice little shape. I'm just gonna delete history so that we break the connection from the curve and that we can edit it. And I'm gonna scale it so that it's a little bit like thicker, closer to what we have on the concept. And we need to, of course, fill in these holes. Easiest way, just to bridge. That way we keep the topology flow. And that's it. It's a nice little shape, right? Now the cool thing is the pivot point is right in the center. So as you can see, these ones are in the corners, not on the front view. So I'm gonna rotate this 45 degrees and then duplicate and rotate this 45, or this would be 135 degrees. Wait. There we go. And then since these are in the positive X, the easiest thing is just to mirror. So we just mirror on the x-axis, and there we go. Cool, right? Not bad, not bad. Nice little detail there. And those are the kind of things that are really important when creating assets, because they change the silhouette, and that's one of the main things that you notice in the game, like the silhouette of an object, and by changing it, it just makes it nicer. It just makes it look super cool, super clean. So yeah, right. Ankur is right. Chess originated in India, or at least that's what the like mainstream history says. It was another game. I read about it, and there was like a piece that was like an elephant or something. It was like a very old game, and then it of course evolved until we got the rules that we have right now. HD Max says, hello, I just finished your low poly character making course. I just want to say that thank you and I enjoyed the process workflow. You're welcome, my friend. You are welcome. It's always so nice to hear the feedback from you guys. And I know that I can also improve. So if there's something that I do in the courses that are like that you guys don't like, let me know and I can adjust it, change it. Because I'm also learning. I was making a post about that today, and I mentioned that when I graduated, I didn't think that I was gonna be doing a lot of teaching, or at least not at the very beginning of my career. And it ended up being like half of my like income and career. Like half of the things that I do is teaching, and the other half is production. So yeah, it's become a very important part of my 3D career, teaching. And I love teaching because I love seeing the joy of students when they understand something or when they master something and they are able to create the things that they want to create. Cool. So we have this sort of like leaf thingies on the top that are used for decoration. So I'm going to show you guys a technique that I think is going to be quite helpful. Let's look for a leaf first of all. And we're gonna go for like a fancy leaf like this one's, like a maple leaf. This one's perfect. So I'm gonna say save image, and we're gonna save it as leaf, just leaf. There we go. So we're gonna go top view, import another image plane. This is one thing I like about Maya. I think in Blender it's a little bit more difficult to do this sort of stuff. It's gonna rotate this 180 degrees. There we go. And we're gonna trace this. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we do need to follow a certain like rule on how to trace this. So I'm gonna change the alpha gain here to like 0.5 so that we can see it like semi-transparent. Coffee says Proc and Nihal from India are killing it in chess. Yeah. There's another Mamajarov, I think is the name of the guy. He's really good as well. Or is that Proc? Papito, ¿qué onda, brother? Me alegra que te esté yendo bien. Uno de los mejores maestros de 3D. Me gustó un montón tu clase. Gracias por todo. De nada, brother, de nada. Aquí andamos, echándole muchas ganas. Anchor says, I think it will be better if you click Control Space and make it full screen. Don't think you need the outliner right now. Okay, yeah. There we go. We can hide it. So let's go here with a plane. I'm going to bring this plane forward. Change the subdivisions to 1. So we have just a single poly. And we're going to make the leaves. So there's no need to be like super precise about the topology right here. I just want to have like the general like shape of the leaf. So for instance here, since we have this little like spiky thing, I'm going to add the spiky thing. And then we're just going to kind of continue this as we can. Like a couple of triangles here and there won't even be that bad. I'm going to create a square here so that the topology flows a little bit nicer. There we go. Like that. There we go. Like that. Yeah, I've been learning chess for the past what, like year, 2 years. After Queen's Gambit came in Netflix, I was like, oh, I want to learn chess. And I always wanted to learn chess, but I was always afraid that it was going to be too difficult. But I've been improving, slowly but surely. There we go. I want to keep those like hard lines there. I think those are going to be nice for the sort of like silhouette that we're going for. And again, I'm not too worried about topology right now because this is such a small detail. Nice. So now I'm going to grab all of these middle vertices, scale them, and snap them to the center. And we're going to mirror this to the other side. There we go. So now, as you see, we have this nice looking shape. Oh, let's go object mode. Object mode. There we go. We don't need the image plane anymore, actually. Do we have a mask or something? Weird. Okay, so now here's the trick. I'm going to use something called a deformer. So I'm going to position this where it's supposed to be. Just also in like, this one seems to be more in like the half point. Like right about there. Seems to be a little bit like thinner. So let's make it thinner. Let's see. Will you make tutorial on applying motion capture in Maya? It's not my specialty. Maybe we can do like a video on YouTube, just like going over the like general things, because it's not really my my strong suit. Most of the 3D that I do, it's not with live action. I do more like 3D alone, like video games and commercials and stuff that are like pure CG. I don't do a lot of integration, to be honest. Thank you, Rohan. Yes, I am. I've been told that I'm a little bit fast. Hi, sir. Right now, I'm working as prop artist. I want to learn character. What routine I have to follow to learn? Software knowledge I have is Maya, ZBrush, and Substance. How much time to take? I think it would take, again, I've mentioned this earlier today, like 6 months would be like a nice time frame to practice. First thing you need to know, anatomy. You need to do like a full male character, full female character, like no cloth, no props, no nothing, just like the anatomy, like an anatomy study. And after that, you need to do like a character with props and with weapons and with cloth and all that stuff. If you can present a character with full props and weapons and stuff as your portfolio piece, then you're good to go. And you have all that is needed to start your career as a character artist. Ronak, I'm not sure what you. Oh, okay. You mentioned that it completes and wrap up the process of asset creation. You mean about the textures? Okay, okay. So you don't think it's important and much in it for us? It is important. It is important. I think UVs are more important than texturing for hard surface artists, because usually, especially in like big studios like a Pixar and stuff, there's going to be like a modeling guy who does the modeling in UVs, and then there's going to be a surfacing guy which does all the textures and all the like extra things that you need for the presentation of the asset. So if you want to work on big studios, like being really good at modeling and really good at UVs, it's better. I know how to UV, how to use Substance, but lacking knowledge in baking. I can't finish the project, so it's much needed. One, hope to see it soon. Okay, I'll see what I can do. Maybe we can take one of the assets and do like a small like mini project in the YouTube channel, so that you guys can follow and do the bakes. Bakes are a little bit tricky, but not like they're not out of this world. Maya or Blender? We've had the discussion before. Both of them are really good. I personally have been using Maya for the past 11 years, so I'm biased towards Maya. But I've been learning Blender the last year after we had like a video like in August or something. So I think both are great. If you're gonna take this seriously, like 3D, I mean, then I do think knowing like Blender, or sorry, Maya or 3D Studio Max, like one of the main engines, is a little bit better. If you're doing this just as a hobby, then Blender is perfect. So I'm going to go here to the form, and we're going to do a bend or non-linear bend to bend this guy. I'm going to change the curvature. And I'm going to rotate this thing so this thing gets flipped like this. See that? So I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees here, minus 90 degrees here. And that way we're going to be doing this. Now, the low bound or the high bound, I'm actually going to reduce it so that it's a little bit flatter on the surface. See that? I do want a little bit of bend though. Probably like that. There we go. And then I'm gonna delete history. And I'm gonna do it again, but to like bend it inwards. So I'm gonna say the form, non-linear bend, again curvature, and just rotate this. In this case, it's 90 degrees on this axis, and this is, or actually, should be like 0 degrees here. There we go. And that's gonna like create this very nice like the form effect, right? Like it's something closer to what we have there. Actually, I think this is a little bit more elaborate than what we have there. So now I'm just gonna scale this down, position it where this is gonna be, which should be like right about there. And I do probably am, or I am gonna give it like a little bit of thickness. And there we go. I'm gonna say mesh display, soften edge. And this is gonna be like this nice little like leaf detail on the top to like decorate the whole thing. They seem to be in the middle section, so I'm gonna keep them on the middle. Let's go to the top view. I'm gonna grab this, shift, right click, and I'm gonna say mirror to the world -C to get it on the other side, and then just control D and duplicate this, or center pivot, and just rotate this 90 degrees. And that way we have this very nice selection. I don't know, looks weird. I mean, it looks interesting on this one, but this one looks a little bit off. I don't know, do you guys like it or not? Yes, Hitesh. So again, I'm gonna write this real quick so that you guys have it. I have a Ryzen 58,000 processor, and then I have a 1080 GPU, GTX. It's the 1080 GTX like GPU. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM running at, I believe, 300,000 like megahertz or something like that. And I have a lot of drives. I have like 2 SSDs and like 3 HDDs, like hard drives. And that's it. That's my setup. So take a screenshot if you want. But that's what I have, and it works fine. No, not QMesh. It was not QMesh. It was a plane, and I just drew with this one, with the Quadro tool. So I just traced the line, and after that I created this thing right here. But I'm not sure. It looks kind of weird. Maybe if we add like smaller leaves, let's send to the pivot point. I'm gonna combine them. I'm gonna rotate them and make like smaller leaves. Maybe that'll make it look a little bit nicer. I don't know. I actually don't like them. I don't think they fit. I don't think they fit the style that we had. So, I mean, the video is gonna be available later, guys. If you want to check it out, just take a look at it and see how I did them. If you need them for your projects or something. But here, I think I'm just gonna add like another sort of like bevel to have a little bit of rust or something. And up here, we definitely need something as well. So I think I'm just gonna grab this guy right here, duplicate it, bring it to the top, and just make it like a little bit thicker. Yeah. I'm not sure. Maybe something like that. Yeah, I think that looks okay. I think that's a good I think that's a good model so far. So you guys ready for UVs? Shall we move on to the UVs? So Hale says, hi sir, what kind of asset or 3D do you like? I mean, stylized texture model or real base model? That's a great question. Most of my portfolio is kind of like realistic, but I've been really liking the stylized work, like from the TV show Arcane that they did for League of Legends. I love that art style. It's just amazing. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of clients doing that sort of stuff, but yeah, it's a really cool stuff. Hey Nicola, welcome to the stream. So let's jump on to UVs then, guys. I think we're in a good position, and I think we can get some nice like results for this guy. So first, you know my drill for UVs. I'm gonna freeze transformation, do the history, make sure everything is clean and stuff. Let's start with the glass. The glass is probably the easiest one. And I'm actually gonna add, or actually we do already have a new material. I'm gonna change the name. I'm gonna call this M Lamp Glass, because we're gonna have two separate shaders. There's gonna be one shader for the glass, and there's gonna be one shader for the lamp. Hitesh asks, I have it should be possible, Hitesh. It should be possible to run it. If you wanna try it, I'm not sure if you've downloaded Blender, but try downloading Blender and try using it for a couple of days. And if it works, then Maya should work as well. But those specs that you're sharing should be more than enough. Okay, so this one's super simple UVs. Oh, like the glass. I'm actually gonna use automatic UVs. I think that's the best one because all of them are just like squares. So I'm just gonna say UV, automatic UVs. It's just gonna do planes everywhere. And if we take a look at the UV editor here, we're just gonna say Control U to unfold and then Control L to lay them out, and this is perfectly fine. It has a little bit like, it has more cuts than it needs to, but it's gonna look fine. Like it's perfectly fine. Like this is gonna work. So no worries there. Now let's go for this piece right here. The method that I use for UVs, we've talked about this before. There's a video called Demystifying UVs that we released like in January. So if you guys are still a little bit hesitant about UVs, check that one out. That one's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go UV first, delete UV, so there's no UVs. And then I'm gonna say UV. I'm gonna do a camera-based projection for the UVs, and now we're gonna start cutting. So I'm gonna say UV, 3D cut, and this is like a cylinder, right? It's pretty much like a cylinder. So I'm gonna cut the inner section right here. Oh. Let's cut this line first. Or here, I'm gonna show you an easier one. I'm gonna grab this guy. I'm gonna press Shift F11. Hey, going to vertex mode. There we go. Control F11, sorry. And then I'm gonna select all of these lines, and I'm gonna do the same for like this ones. Like all of those. And I'm gonna say UV. I'm gonna do a planar mapping from the Y-axis. So that way we cut those off from the rest of the element. That makes it a lot easier. Now, I'm gonna cut like the beams here. Those are really important. So I'm gonna say UV. Again, 3D cut here. And let's start like up here. Let's create one line. There we go. Usually when you have one line, you can just double click and keep going to the other side like that. There we go. And we're gonna do the same thing like here. You can just like trace one line and then just double click all the way around. This part right here is gonna be like a cap. That's perfectly fine. And then we do need to cut like the inner sections here, or otherwise this is not gonna like unfold properly. So like all of these intersections, let's cut them out. There we go. Now this next section again is like a big cylinder, but I'm gonna cut it in an area where it's easy to unfold. So I'm gonna go like right there, and then like right there, and then I'm gonna cut like this cap, and I'm just gonna follow like one of the edges here, and that's gonna be the column line for the whole thing. Now comes the real test. We need to see whether or not this unfolds properly. So I'm just gonna select everything, Control U to unfold, and then Control L. And there we go. That looks quite nice, except for this piece right here. As you can see, all of the other pieces like unfolded nicely. That's not bad, but this one didn't. So we need to add a couple more cuts. We probably need let's just like one cut that goes across like this. So I'm gonna go here, cut and sew, and we're gonna cut. Grab that shell, Control L or Control U, and then Control L. There we go. Now it looks more like the frame. So yeah, that's it. That's the piece. That's the basic lamp right there. Now to keep track of which ones we are doing, I'm gonna create a new layer here. I'm gonna call this UV ready. And by the way, we should save because we haven't saved. There we go. So grab these two guys, right click and add selected objects. Now we can turn this off, and that way I know which ones I'm missing. Let's see what else we have. A tool. I have to learn anatomy on ZBrush or Maya. ZBrush. No one nowadays does anatomy in Maya. Like back in the day, we used to like model, like box model a full human body, but right now everyone does it in Maya and then you retopologize. Sorry, everyone does it in ZBrush and then you retopologize in Maya. That's usually the way to go. Deepak, thank you. I'm really glad that you enjoyed the tutorials. It's always a pleasure to do them. Now, Nicola, how to become a successful freelancer? That's a great question. And I hope I had the answer, my friend. I really hope I did have the answer. But unfortunately, I don't. Like, there's a lot of factors that come into it. First of all, of course, you need to be good at it, right? Like, you need to have a good portfolio, because your portfolio is going to be the thing that's going to open... it's going to open the doors for you. Like, people are gonna look at your portfolio and they're gonna be like, oh, look at Nicola, he's really good at doing like cars or characters or furniture or whatever, right? And once you're like identified as someone that can do something like really nicely, it's easier to get your name out there. But if you're just beginning, the best thing I can advise everyone is get a great portfolio, like create something that is like inspiring, like really good, and then get yourself out there. Like, you need to go to conventions, events, interviews, meets and greets, like anything that you can do that's gonna make people like get to know you. That's always great. I've gotten a lot of jobs, actually, like a lot of small little jobs from like family members. Like, let's say my uncle knows that I do 3D, so he gets with a friend or goes with a friend, and they're like, oh, Abraham does 3D, and the friend is like, oh, I need like an animation for my, like, I don't know, my restaurant, can he do it? And yeah, you just do it, and that little work, someone else is gonna see it, and he's gonna ask the person, is like, hey, who did that? And then they're gonna get back to you, and that's how you start building your network, your working network, by doing small jobs, and then like people noticing them. But you need to make sure that the jobs that you're doing are done in a great way, right? Like your quality needs to be really good, so that when people see the job, they're like, oh yeah, this guy is really good, and they want to work with you. So yeah, like getting your name out there, it is tricky. It takes time. Like when I started, very few people knew me, like right here in my city. But nowadays, people know, at least here in the city, people know who I am and what I do. So that makes it a little bit easier to negotiate and get jobs and stuff. So there we go. 2 pieces, 2 more pieces done. What's best for animating cloths sculpted in ZBrush? Oh, that's a great question. Usually, if you sculpted the cloths, you're not going to be animating them. You're going to be retopologizing them, and then the character, like the cloths, are not going to be animated. If you want to do animated cloths, Marvelous Designer is the best, probably. Or like Maya here with Anklet and stuff, or with Bifrost. Yeah, usually sculpted cloths, you don't simulate, you animate. So you're going to have to rig them and animate them. Okay, let's do the little spheres. Those are easy. It's just a camera based, and that should be it. This one also should be fairly easy. We don't have the back plate. We can actually, like, if we want to save a little bit of faces, we can get rid of this one's right there. Oh. This one's right there, and that way it's just a single like hollow piece. So it's just very easy, just 3D and cut. Well, let's do first a camera-based projection. And we're gonna do 3D and cut there and down here, so that we cut the cylinder. This one we can keep it flat. I don't think that's that big of a deal. Yeah, you can use effects for that. Yeah, if you want to simulate cloth, you definitely need to use like some sort of like simulation. It's not sculpted. And finally, this little guys right here. So easiest way, to be honest, for this guys is I'm gonna delete like all of them except for one, and then we just like get the UVs for one, and then we duplicate them. That's the easiest one. So again, UV, camera based, and then I'm gonna say UV 3D cut. Let's cut one line right there, and then the other line right there. It's gonna be like two layers to the whole little S shape. Let's go. Where's my UV? There we go. So Control U, Control L. There we go. That's the nice strip. Control Unfold, and then Control Layout to lay this out. And now again, it's just a matter of like duplicating this, saying 90 degrees, and then we can just are we mirrored here? Yeah, we're mirrored, so just a matter of mirroring to the x-axis. And didn't work. Let's delete history first. First transformation and mirror on the x-axis negative. Hey, what the hell? Okay, whatever. We'll just duplicate, say 90 degrees again. Freeze transformation, duplicate, and 90 degrees again. Grab all of this, combine, delete history. Yes, you can do transfer attributes as well. I find it easier to just like duplicate them again, because it's just few of them. It's just 4, so it's easy to duplicate. If you had like 1,000 or something, then yeah, transfer attributes would be the best idea. And there we go. So now I'm gonna grab everything except for the glass. We're gonna go UV. Let's do one final unfold, and then Control L to lay them out. And as you can see, we have this map. Very nicely laid out map. The resolution is working nicely. There's not a lot of deformation. Everyone's sharing a nice little space. There's still hollow spaces, so we could add more stuff in there. But I think for our example right now, I think this is gonna work just nice. Do you offer your all courses on Skillshare? I have Skillshare subscription, but not Udemy. So which courses are available in Udemy? I think all of the courses are available in Udemy. I'm not sure about the Skillshare. See, the thing is, I don't I don't deal with the platforms. Nalini is the one in charge of that. But I'm gonna ask him if all of the courses are available on Skillshare. I think they all eventually get in Skillshare, but I think the approval period for Skillshare is a little bit longer than Udemy, so that might be why not all of them are there yet. Sohail Sitek says, when did you start your journey as a 3D artist? And when you feel like now I'm capable or easily model out these things. Oh, oh, sorry, let me stretch a little bit. That's a great question. I started in 2011, so 11 years ago. When did I feel like confident enough to do stuff like this? I think after like 4 years, like even like after 2 years, I was able to get a job, as I mentioned, and then I went back to school, and then after I finished school, I got another job and stuff. But it took me a while to really like feel confident enough to do models. And even nowadays, like there's a couple of models that I see and there's like, damn, like how am I gonna model that? If you guys have gotten the new hard surface course, the camera, the Olympus camera that we modeled, that was a challenge. There were a lot of parts where we had to like really work out like what was the best approach, because some models, some objects are really really complex. But yeah, like as I mentioned, with 2 years of experience, it should be fairly easy to get a junior starting job, and then after 4 years, you should be like really confident about your skills. Do you use electric toothbrush? No, no, I don't use electric toothbrush. I use a normal toothbrush. Why? How can you make sure the textile density is correct on the unfolds? That's a great question. So by default, on the unfold option here, on the unfold option, sorry, on the layout option, you need to check this thing which says shell pre-scaling, preserve 3D ratios, and that way all of the shapes are gonna be matching to the same like textile resolution, and it should be working. Otherwise, yes, you're gonna have problems with the textile. So yeah, it's that preserve 3D ratios. That's fine. That's fine. Can you give an estimation of how long it would take to render a high quality, realistic 10-second animation on a normal computer? Yes, it's very easy to do. You only need to get one frame. Let's say I render a frame and the frame takes like 5 minutes to render. And if it's a 10-second animation, that means that it's 24 frames times 10, that's 240 frames. You multiply that by 5, that's 1200 minutes. Divided by 60, it's going to take 20 hours. So I would say like a high quality 3D animation that takes like 5 minutes to render, 20 minutes, it's like a normal time. Here, let me show you an example. This is a project that I never show, but I like you guys, so I'm gonna show it to you. So back in, I think it was 2018, 2017, something like that, we were asked to do a music video for a Latin American company, and the renders were taking, I would say, about that amount of time. It's really, how can I say this? It's a really, what's the word? Trashy. It's really trashy. It's not so. This is not on our portfolio. We never show this. It's called the Buraquinho, and it's not because like we don't like it. It looks okay, but yeah. So for instance, let me see. It's just really trashy. I mean, if you guys know, there's this like music genre called reggaeton, and the reggaeton it's considered like party music, but it's not like great, right? So this is an animation that we had to render with like depth of field and stuff. Again, it's not great, but for instance, this 12 seconds, that's 12 seconds of animation right there. I'll play it again for you guys. So I think this 12 seconds took like probably like 10 hours, and we had like 10 computers rendering. So it was quite demanding, because we had just like normal computers. It was not like a server or anything. So yeah, you can definitely see that it can be a lot of time for like a computer to render. So yeah. Are Maya's sculpting tools pretty good? No, they're really bad. I never use them. Like, I know they're here, but I don't use them. I think blenders are way better, to be honest. I think blenders are way better. Cool. So let's take this into Substance, shall we? First, I'm gonna assign a new material to the object. Again, a Lambert, just to have an assigned material. I'm gonna call this M candle lamp, because this was M candle lamp glass. Okay, so I'm gonna grab all of the objects. I'm gonna say File, Export Selection, and here in the Lighthouse, let's create a new folder called Candle Lamp. Again, just to keep things organized. And let's call this Candle Lamp. Let's open Substance Designer. That render was done with, I think it was Redshift. I think it was Redshift back on the day. Yeah, nowadays I would do it with Arnold, but I think that was done with Redshift. So Hale says, I'm studying BFX and concept design and I'm going to graduate within the next 2 months, but still I'm not confident that I can model everything, especially related to characters. If you're not a character artist, or if you don't feel confident with doing character artists, don't add characters on your portfolio. Say that you're a 3D modeler, say that you're a VFX artist, but don't say that you're a character artist, because otherwise, yeah, people are going to ask you if you can do a character, and if you don't feel confident, then you might do a bad job, and that will look bad on your experience, right? So yeah, always play to your strengths. Like, if you're really good at something right now, make a portfolio about that and keep working on the things that you want to get better at on the side. That way you can get a job doing something that you like, but it's not going to be, like, you're not going to feel the pressure that you need to deliver something, right? So let's go to our project here real quick. And we're going to do a quick texture job. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're still got a couple of minutes left. Let's see where we can get this. It's on Scenes, Lighthouse, Candle Lamp, there we go. Open. I think 2K is fine. I don't think we need like a bigger resolution. And as you can see, since we added 2 different materials inside of Maya, we're gonna have 2 different texture sets here. So we can do the textures for the lamp on one and the textures for the lamp on the other. And this is why I wanted to do it, because I'm gonna be using a sort of like a glass shader for the lamp glass over here so that we can see what's going on. But before that, we definitely need to do the bakes. We don't have a high poly, that's fine. We can still get some information like the ambient occlusion. So I'm just gonna bake it like this. And again, the most important one that I want to get is the curvature, and that one, the ambient occlusion. So that's the ambient occlusion, looks good. And that's gonna give us some nice information that we're gonna be able to use. So there's no need to have a high poly for this one right here. Now I'm gonna go to the candle lamp, or the lamp glass, and let's start with this one. Yes, William, Skyrim has great music, but I'm scared that if we do that thing, we're gonna get like copyright strike or something. So that's why I always try to use like music that I know it's free. So we're gonna go here to the shaders, and we're gonna change the shader from this one to the which one should we do? I think we're gonna do the PBR metal rough with alpha blending, which is like a transparent material. And then on the lime glass, I'm gonna make sure that we have an opacity channel up here, opacity, and I'm gonna add a layer channel. And this is just a preview, because the actual glass we need to set it up in Unreal, not here. But what we can do is we can add like a rust fine to do like a dirt pass, and then on this one we're gonna turn on the opacity. And then we're gonna say right click, black mask, right click, generator, and we're gonna add like a dirt generator. Actually, let me turn off the opacity here. So let's do first the dirt generator here. Oh, you know what? I don't think this one has, no, it does have the maps. Let's do a black mask. Let's do a field layer here. So this layer is gonna like simulate my glass, and then this one should have the dirt generator. Huh, weird. Okay, I'm gonna go back to texture set settings. I'm gonna say bake mesh maps again. And I'm gonna bake this ones only. Does that work better? Do we have the UVs? Yeah, UVs are there. That's weird. Huh, that's really weird. Okay. I mean, we can do it manually, but I don't know why the dirt's not working. Nalini said that he would do a part 2 of his realistic character modeling for games. Oh, I don't know. I don't know, my friend. I haven't asked him, but I can ask him. I'll ask him. Wilfred says, how to decide UV texel density when I use multiple models for a scene? It's a great question. Usually the guy that's gonna be in charge of like making sure that everything goes into the game will give you the texel density that you need. But more often than not, like if you grab like a 1 meter cube, like that's gonna be like your base measurement. So here in UVs, you can check them on the transform tab, the texel resolution. So a 1 meter cube usually will have like a 2048 texel density. So yeah, so this would be like a normal number. So that's gonna be like your base. And if they say no, it needs to be like a 4K map, then you know that this is gonna be like roughly your density. It all has to do with screen space. So for those of you that are not aware, texel density is like how big your pixels are gonna be. So imagine a game that's running in a full HD computer, right? So 1920 by 1080. And your character is like a third-person character, like Gears of War. And your character is going to be like this. So I know that the character is going to be occupying, let's say, like 1,000 pixels on this side, and then like 800 pixels on this side. So that's going to be like the volume that my character is going to be using. So I want to make sure that at this distance, he always looks nice. Which means that I'm probably going to be using like a 4K map to make sure that everything looks nice. And then if you have like a mountain, like all the way on the back, well, the amount of pixels that this mountain is going to have is going to be very little all the time. So for this one, I'm probably just going to use like a 512 map. And that should make sure that both elements look similar because of the distance and because of the amount of pixels that they're occupying on your screen. So objects that are going to be closer to the camera are always going to have like higher texture densities, and objects that are going to be far away from your camera are always going to have like lower texture densities. That's like a rule of thumb that you can follow. Okay, I'm not sure why the rust is not working, so I'm just going to do this manually. I am going to add, I'm just going to use the paint layer here. So black mask, right click, paint layer. And I'm going to use like this sort of like rust effect. I don't have my tablet right now, otherwise I would definitely use it. I had class on the morning and I took it with me. So I'm gonna add a little bit more on the top, which is where the smoke would like accumulate, and a little bit more of the bottom, which is where like the actual dirt would accumulate. And that's gonna give a little bit more story to the whole thing. What are your guys' favorite snacks? What do you like to eat? I like to eat Takis. You know that. Takis are great. They're really good. There we go. Now let's focus on the metal over here. So I'm gonna look for some reference, and let's look at like old rust lamp. And let's see if we can find something that looks similar to what we're going for. And yeah, we do have things that look similar. So like this, right? So I know that we have a basic like metal effect. So I'm gonna go here to the candle lamp. Let's gonna go to the layers. Let's go to the materials, and let's look for like a steel. So we actually have a steel rusted. So I'm gonna use that one. But it's way too shiny, right? Like it has way too much yeah, shininess to it. So on the options here, on the metal roughness, we're gonna bring this up. Now you can also see that there's like some textures, but it's way too big. Let me see if you can like see it right there. So I'm gonna go to the options here, and on the scale, I'm gonna change this to like a 4. That way, the texture is gonna be like smaller, and we're gonna see a little bit more detail, like that. Takis are good, yeah. Should I care about how the mesh looks if it's not deforming? Chest, armor, helmet. I mean, there's a couple of things that you always need to take, like, be precise about, like the topology and stuff. But usually, no. Like, for instance, this thing, we can have like the topology the way that we have it, because we're not gonna be like bending it or scratching it. It could even be like completely triangulated, and it's fine. Like rocks and stuff, you don't care about topology. It's just a rock. So yeah, I guess the answer would be like, no, you don't need to worry that much about it, but always be like following the proper, like, normal things that we follow. Gonna make this a little bit lighter. Doritos, yeah, Doritos are great. Muffins. I have more of a salty tooth for snacks, but I like to have my coffee in the mornings with some cookies. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to render this today, because it's getting a little bit late and I need to go to sleep. I need to take care of my baby. My little baby has been moving a lot in the night, and she's not letting us sleep very well. Emma, that's her name. I just wrote it. I'm just thinking about her right now. Rust. Let's add a layer of rust, black mask, a generator, and dirt generator. And here's the trick. I always tell you guys about this trick, and every time I see your portfolios, everyone's doing it like wrong again. So remember, the metal edgewares and the rusts are really good, but you need to make them like fade away in certain areas. You're not gonna have rust everywhere at the same intensity. Best way to do it, easiest way to do it, if you don't want to go like by hand, just add a fill layer, fill it with the clouds, like this one. Change the balance of the clouds so it's like harsh, like a harsh contrast. And then multiply this against the rust layer. See that? This is the rust layer by itself, which is affecting everything. And this is the rust layer being multiplied by a cloud layer. So now we can change how much we want this thing to be affected. Of course, we can change the intensity here. And I will definitely change this to overlay to make sure that the colors like blend a little bit better. So it's super important to do that. Everyone forgets about that one, and it's really important. Otherwise, things look too like obvious. And you don't want that. Let's do a metal edgeware. So I'm gonna look for like a shiny metal, like aluminum. There we go. Black mask, right click, generator. Let's do our metal edgeware. Which, by the way, we also released our newest course. I forgot the name of the teacher. He's a new addition to the team. He just entered the team, and he did like this substance, an introduction to Substance Painter. Really cool one. So let's increase the metal edgeware there. This is gonna be linear dodge, and I'm gonna do the same trick. I'm gonna add a fill layer, and I'm gonna use a clouds. Probably increase the contrast here, and use this to multiply against the metal edgeware. See that? See the difference? This is without the metal edgeware, so everything looks fake because everything's damaged in the same. Everything is damaged on the same like scale, and this one makes sure that we don't have the same amount of damage everywhere. Makes it a lot more believable, a lot nicer. But cooler. I'm definitely gonna change or reduce the amount of like shininess, because I don't want to have as much like damage. And there we go. That's starting to look quite nice. Yeah, the aluminum is gonna like really make it pop, and we're still missing a couple of layers that I want to add. So here's a nice trick for you guys. Let me see if I have the material here. Sometimes you're gonna want to add like just damage to the metal, right? Like, because all of the surfaces look really flat, and flatness makes things look boring. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a fill layer, but this fill layer is only gonna be a height layer, and on the height layer I'm just gonna add a noise, like a noise layer, like it can even be like the clouds or something. And see how this brings noise everywhere? Now the cool thing is we can change the balance, so that we only have noise in certain areas, or we can change the scale to make the noise like bigger or smaller. So I'm gonna make the noise bigger like this, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into the noise or the height section, and I'm gonna bring this down. So that is, it's creating this sort of like surfacey thing, very similar to something that we would do in ZBrush, right? Like adding like this sort of detail, but we can do it straight here inside of Substance. and that's gonna make it look a lot more interesting. It's gonna break up the surface as well. So as you can see, instead of having like this very ugly and boring like surface, we have this like interesting effect with just like a noise, like a very simple, subtle noise, and it's gonna add a lot of information. Because remember, all of this thing is gonna eventually be baked out into the normal map. So the normal map will have all of that information in our model. What else can we add? Hey Harpreet, how are you, my friend? Let's see, what else can we add? Let's take a look at the reference. So I can see some like harsher like rust layers, like dark spots of rust. So I'm gonna do something like that. Let's add another rust layer on the top, and then I'm gonna add a black mask, and this one's I'm gonna paint. So I'm gonna go into my paintbrush, and there's one called spots, like this. And maybe we wanna add like some, like a really dark, like crusty rust on certain areas. Usually you're gonna get this sort of rust on the areas that get the most like moisture. So where water's like accumulating, you're gonna get a little bit more of this sort of effect. And this one, I'm not gonna change this this base color to other. Maybe I'll just like bring it down a little bit, but I'm not gonna make it overlay because I do want to have like the intensity of the splotches. And this is a little bit more hand painted, so that's why we're getting some more specific details, right, on different areas of our element. I would love to give away promos, but again, I mentioned I don't manage the courses. That's Nalin, but I'll tell him. Maybe he'll give me some promos, and we'll share them on the next couple of days. Okay? So stay tuned. Stay tuned. I want to do some sort of contest as well. You guys have any ideas? Should I give like an object and then everyone tries to model it and texture it or something? Or should we do like an open contest and say the topic is, I don't know, like Star Wars. Everyone do something about Star Wars. And then we give prizes to whoever did the best job. What do you guys think? Should we do something like that? That'll be cool, right? Nice. So yeah, this is what we have right now. I want to add one more layer before we export this. I do think we're going to have time to do a quick render. So yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to be seeing, Alan. We're going to be doing the opacity map in Maya. I'll show you. So I'm going to go here, layers. I'm going to add a new layer. This is just going to be a black layer. So I'm going to turn everything off and make this like a black layer. I'm going to use a fill layer. So black mask, right click, fill layer. I'm going to use the ambient occlusion map that we got. So this one right here. Now the ambient occlusion is inverted, so we need to right click and hit levels and invert this to be able to add this sort of like dark shadows to the color map. And we can play around with like the sharpness of the ambient occlusion. So I do want to have like a nice little sharpness there. Definitely make this overlay and definitely bring this down. That's gonna add just a little bit of extra shadow, as you can see there. It's just a little bit of an extra little thing there. Painted layers going to translate nicely on other meshes? Yeah. They can work nicely on everything. Cool. So yeah, let's export this. So I'm gonna export textures. We're gonna export this to our projects. That's my dog barking. I don't know why he's barking. He's crazy. Here. And we're gonna export this. Let's do it for Arnold. So Arnold AI standard. And we export. And this is what we're gonna get. We're gonna get all of these images. So we have our diffuses, our metalness, or everything. We do have a color for the lamp glass. I think I'm gonna do subsurface for the glass instead of opacity. But if we wanted to do opacity, we can also do it with a mask. So let me try doing the subsurface first, so that it looks like tinted glass. And then if it doesn't work, we'll do opacity. So that's fine. Let me save this file real quick. Maybe he's saying, hey, it's time to stop the stream and let me in so that we can all sleep. Almost. Where is it? He's crazy. I think one of the neighbors' dogs is what's the proper word when dogs are ready to reproduce and the males go crazy. I think that's happening. I think that's why he's like so desperate. Okay, let's delete the image planes. And let's start assigning the materials. So I'm gonna select everything here except for the glass. Right click, assign new material. Actually, I'm gonna show you a quick shortcut. This is great. If you have Maya 2022, you can go Windows, Settings and Preferences, Plugin Manager, and there's a plugin that's specifically made for Substance. So it's called the Substance plugin. And if you have that, you're gonna get this shelf right here, which again, super handy. Because you can click this button right here, which is gonna create a new material, and it's gonna apply the workflow to that material. So we can just select multiple materials, as you can see here. We select the base color, the metalness, the normal, and actually, let me make sure that we're grabbing, so it's base color, metalness, normal, and the roughness. Hit select. As you can see, they get like exactly where they're supposed to go, except for the metallic. We need to just rename it. There we go. And when we hit apply, it creates a new shader, or like a new material, which is this one. And it has all of the maps applied with the proper like workflows and settings. So everything's just ready. We only need to rename it. I'm just gonna call this M metal lamp. There we go. I'm just gonna grab all of my objects except for the glass and just hit right click, assign new material, and we're gonna hit the, or sorry, assign existing material and the metal lamp. There we go. So now that's the one. Let's go Arnold lights, Skydome light to get like an HDR. Let's do a file, and we do have one here. It really doesn't matter which one we use because we're gonna be like reducing the intensity of the light quite a bit. Looks like I have a mask. There we go. All object stuff. There we go. Oh. There we go. So I'm gonna bring the exposure down to like a -4. And I'm gonna Arnold lights. I'm gonna assign a new I think it's gonna be an area light, and I'm gonna change this to a cylinder to get it in there. Temperature really low. It's gonna be like a candle light, and exposure is gonna be quite high. Let's save again. Let's add a wall. I think a wall would be nice. I know we're not texturing this wall right now, but just there we go. Let's get a shot cam. It's always good. There we go. Yeah, the substance shortcut is it's amazing. Blender has it as well, by the way. I'm not sure if it has the shortcut to connect the textures, but it has a shortcut to load like substance materials, because this one also does that. Really handy. So let's save real quick. Let's do Arnold and do a quick render to see how this looks. Let's wait for my computer to think. RB, I watch your videos only. The other guys have very thick poncho accent. Please redo Substance Painter tutorials. With respect to you from Russia. You're very pro and focused, man. Thank you. You're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. But yeah, everyone has its own like style, and I know accents can be a little bit difficult, but there's a lot of really talented people out there. I've learned a lot from people that have thick accents as well. So yeah, there we go. That looks quite nice, as you can see. Right now, since we have this like transparent Lambert, we are getting the effect. I think the street is a little bit too dark, so I'm gonna grab this guy, and let's bring this to like a -1 or like a -2, so that we see a little bit of the effects over here. So that's looking nice, right? Not bad for a 2-hour demo, I would say. Can you create a game environment course in Unreal Engine with the workflow which are used in game industry? We'll add that to the list. I won't spoil anything, but we do have a couple of ideas going about that. Cool. Now let's take a look at this glass right here. So for this glass, I'm going to use a new material. This one I am going to do manually. I'm going to use a AI standard surface. We're not going to use diffuse here. We're not going to use the color. We're going to go down here to transmission, and we're going to turn on transmission because we want to like transmit through the object. And if I were to just like render this, you can see that this now looks like glass. It's actually refracting the light, and we're actually seeing like the reflection of the element, which is looking quite nice, right? Now what I think I can do is I can select this color right here and output or input the asset, the color map that we exported to create a nice effect. So let's grab this base color that has like a little bit of rust. And now what should happen is we should have like this sort of like tinted glass. There we go. Oof. Beautiful. Look at this. This looks amazing, right? Not freaking bad. It looks like burnt glass, which is what you would expect from this like old lamps. So yeah, I mean, what else can I say? I do think it's a little bit warm now, like way too warm. So I'm going to go to the area light and I'm going to bring the temperature up so that the light is not as warm. But yeah, I mean, nice, right? Not bad. Not freaking bad. Yeah, I think that's what we're looking for. That sort of like burnt glass effect. So yeah, that looks... I'm quite surprised. It looks quite nice. So let's just, like, since we already have a pretty image, let's just go the extra mile, and I'm gonna grab the objects, so, and the light. I'm gonna group it, and I'm gonna duplicate the group to create a second one. And now let's have like a focus on both of them. Maybe move it a little bit further out, like this. So one's gonna be like on the front like cover, and the other one's gonna be on the back. Yeah, that looks nice. We might even need like a third one. So just Control D and move this out. Like we're not gonna really see it, or at least it's not gonna be like super close. But the light is gonna influence the rest of the elements, and we're starting to get a nice composition, right? Some random texture, yeah, brick texture with displacement would be great, right? But I think we're about to run out of time. We're gonna have to wait for that one for another video. Give me a second. Okay. So, oop. Nope. Okay, so yeah, now let's add a couple of like extra little flares here. You guys remember that we talked about the imagers. If you have not seen the imagers things, you are missing out, because these things are amazing. So before that though, I do want to add like a nice little depth of field effect. So I'm gonna grab my camera. Let's go to the options. I'm gonna go to Arnold, and we're gonna do depth of field. Now I want to focus on this guy right here, which is at 2 units away. So the focus distance is going to be 2 units, and let's do like an aperture for like 0.5 or something. And let's see how this looks before adding the imagers. We could also, let's save real quick, and I'm going to change the options to GPU. Let's see if we can get like a faster render that way. Whenever you do GPU though, it's going to take a little while before it like focuses properly. But yeah, like this is looking quite nice. Of course, the focus, like the depth of field is way too much. So let's stop it. Let's go back here to the camera. Wait, I lost you guys. There you go. So camera, and let's do like a 0.1, so that we do get a little bit of like blur on the depth of field, but not as much on this first one. And here's where the magic's gonna happen, guys. First, we're gonna add a lens effect, and on the lens effect, the thing that we're gonna be doing is we're gonna do a little bit of vignette, which is gonna like darken the borders of our image, just a little bit, not much. But then we're gonna do the bloom, and now the hot spots of our image are gonna bloom a little bit more, and that's gonna look quite nice. We can reduce the threshold, and that's gonna of course increase it, but I actually want to keep it like that to get this sort of like nice bloom effect. We can change the radius. Let's increase it a little bit so that the bloom is like really, really big, and we can see a lot of this like glow coming from the lamps. And now we're gonna add, of course, our denoiser optics, and we re-render. And the denoiser should make the image cleaner. It is looking a little bit splotchy. Someone asked about this at the beginning of the stream, like how can we make this less splotchy? Well, of course, we need to increase the size of the image. So let's go to like a 1920 by 1080, like full HD. And I am going to increase the samples a little bit. So I'm going to go here to adaptive sampling. I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to say like 10 samples should be more than enough. And just hit play. This is going to take a little longer. But now when the denoiser kicks in, since it's going to have more samples and the image is going to be bigger, we're going to have a better effect. And yeah, that's it, guys. That's the end of the line for now. The render is done. There you go. You can see that the denoiser working wonders. And again, the longer I let this thing run, the nicer the image is going to look. Like all of this is splotchiness. It's going to become tighter and tighter and tighter the more time I let this thing run. So let's just wait a couple of minutes, and I'll answer more questions. We're about to wrap this up, but yeah, do you guys have any questions? Can I use this for my portfolio? If you do it, yeah, sure, go for it. Like if you replicate what I just did and you do your own little lamp, like add your own little details and stuff, yeah, this could be like a nice portfolio piece. Oh, you're welcome, guys. You're welcome. I've been loving these streams. I know I would love to do them more frequently, but unfortunately, well, I have a job and other things to do, my family, of course, so I can't be here all the time. But maybe we'll try and do like two live streams a month. Maybe for March we can do like a small live stream at the middle of the month, and then like a long live stream at the end. I think this has been one of our longest live streams. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. I think it was good. Let's see, we had almost 1,000 people watch the stream. That's a lot. That's a lot. Fumi, I can't read that. Let me translate that. Yes, all of the live streams are going to be on YouTube. You just need to check them. Let me show you. Here, so if you go into the Nexttut channel and you go into videos, or sorry, playlists, you should find the live stream. Or no, where is it? Uploads, live now? No, here. If you go into the all videos and then you go to past live streams, they're all there. Like all of the live streams that we've done, they're there. So this one's gonna be there as well. And by the way, we just hit 20,000 subscribers, guys. That's a big number, super big number. So thank you everyone for all of the support. It's been a great journey so far, and all of you guys' messages and supports have been great. So thank you everyone. Let's go. I'm not sure we can get to like 50K subscribers by the end of the year, but maybe 30K subscribers. It's not super crazy. So you guys know that the drill, like sharing, liking, subscribing, all of that thing really helps us. Yes, I'll keep that one in mind, Aditya. I'll try to talk about haircuts. It's a complex topic. That's why we haven't really talked about it, because it's several steps that need to go into it to build like proper haircuts. But yeah, I'll keep it in mind. Who else is asking questions? Thank you, RB. Thank you. I don't think I'm the best teacher, but I've been really happy with all of the latest courses that I've been releasing. I was able to focus more on this like teaching side of things, and it's been going well. Is there a difference if we render with GPU or CPU in Maya? Yes, GPU tends to be faster. CPU tends to be more exact. So if you're doing things that has a lot of caustics and like specific like light bounces that you need, CPU is sometimes better. GPU also stresses the GPU quite a bit. It's like if you were like playing a game at high like resolution and stuff. So it will like not damage, but it will what's the word? Utilize or I'm not sure what the word is. it's stressful for the GPU, but for like a frame like this one, I think it's fine. Yeah. Okay, thank you for the feedback, RB. I'll let everyone know about that. Yes, I know that thick accents can sometimes be a little bit difficult to understand. You're welcome, Aditya. You're welcome. So yeah, I mean, I think this is pretty much it. Yes, it's gonna get cleaner. Probably not as much though, as you can see right here. But look at this. Doesn't this look amazing? We just need the wall. We just need the freaking wall. Just like a brick wall, and this would be like a piece from a movie or something. I can already kind of see it. So maybe we'll do that for Saturday. Sounds good. We'll do like a brick wall, like displacement again. We'll talk about displacement again for Saturday, and maybe like a cool little like animation or something. So yes, if you render for really long periods of time, like if your GPU is rendering for like 12 hours, then yeah, that could be harmful for the GPU, and that's why CPU is recommended for like really long renders. For short renders like this, it shouldn't be a problem. And yeah, I can talk about settings. Like these ones that I'm using right now, these are really universal. Like if you go here to the Arnold renderer and you change the adaptive sampling, or you turn this on, and you say like 10 and 0.015, like this thing is gonna take like maybe 10 minutes or maybe 15 minutes to render like completely. But as you can see, there's really not a lot of change. Like not much noise is improving. It's pretty much the same noise. So I would stop it right here, to be honest, which was like 10 minutes or something. And this will be like my render. Like this is enough for me on the quality side of things, that I really don't need this to be like any cleaner. Like no one's ever gonna see this at like 400 resolution. This is like the size, or this is like the size that you're gonna see it on the screen, and I think this is like more than enough. So let's save this image before anything happens. This lamps render, and we'll do the wall because I really like this render. This is looking quite nice. I think it's looking not bad for a two-hour exercise. So yeah. And well, that's it, guys. It's almost midnight over here. So I need to go and make sure that everything is ready here in the house before we go to sleep. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for all the support. Make sure to leave a comment, like, whatever. Everything helps here on the channel. Tomorrow we're gonna have a video from Alejandro, a Blender video. Check that one out as well. It's really cool, especially if you want to get your hands into Blender. And then on Friday we'll come back, and I promise one of you guys that we're gonna be doing the how to choose a project video. Then on Saturday I want to do the wall because I really want to see how this looks with the wall. And always recommend more stuff. Let me know what else you guys want to see on the videos, and I'll be happy to have it on the YouTube channel. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good day. Make sure to learn more 3D as if you can, and I'll see you back on the next one. Bye-bye.